Eva won't be able to join us because she is under the weather, and Mr. Gordy is out of town, and so he is not in Wi-Fi range or doesn't have strong Wi-Fi, so he won't be able to make it either tonight. Hi, Michaela.
Hey.
And Angie, hi. Thanks for joining us. All right, we will get started. It's 6:01. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first up is approving the February board meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Oh, Michaela. And is there a second? All right, Teresa. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that one passes. As far as the agenda, I do have a quick change to the agenda since Mr. Gordy won't be here. We're going to have to shift the principal report. He did have one quick thing that he wanted me to mention. So we will do the budget first, then we will get to the principal's report because Victoria needs to jet. She's got a meeting for her daughter. So we'll do that first just so we can get the votes done with all the members who are here. Do we have a motion to approve that with the changes? Victoria, thank you. Is there a second? All right, Michaela, sounds good. All in favor, say aye and just put your thumb up if you want. All right. Those opposed? Okay. Moving on to the budget, we have two items that needed to be voted on. We have a budget request from the English kindergarten team. Usually they would go on a field trip in the spring, and a lot of times it's the Minnesota Orchestra, and of course they can't do that this year. However, there's an option to do kind of a virtual field trip. And along with that, they are asking for funds to purchase supplemental kinder concerts in a box. So it kind of goes along with whatever video the Minnesota Orchestra is going to be sending them. So the amount is $275, and we took out the field trip amounts for the year, so this would have to come from the help me out here, the line item for the discretionary spending. Is that correct, Michaela and Victoria?
Like the allocated by board line,
Yes.
is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So does anybody have any questions before we vote? This can happen anytime. So I asked if it was okay if we waited till this meeting to do it. They said yes. But I'm sure they'd like to do it as soon as possible.
Is that price per class $275, or is it $275 for a box that they like pass around and share?
I believe it is. Actually, I had prepared this. Let me share my screen real quick, and I'll show you the budget request that they sent to me. There we go. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay, so it is, I think that's just a total, so it's 5 at $55 each, so it's per classroom. So
Okay.
each classroom gets their own box. And then to cut down on the cost, the Minnesota Orchestra is going to hand deliver it to us, which is really neat. So then we don't have to pay for the delivery cost.
And it looks really, really cool. Katie and I decided not to do it just because Katie's, well, actually, she's now on maternity leave. She has a little baby boy. So just due to it, the missing of how much time with immersion, we wanted to spend more time on vocabulary that we know we need to kind of make up. But it looked really, really cute. And, you know, it was something extra. And so Katie and I talked about it and chose not to go for it. But I think it will be great for the English kids. Looks like they get, you know, some kind of instruments, or it looks like the boxes are really fun, just from what I've seen. So just so you know.
All right, are we ready to vote? Do we have a motion to approve $275 to be used from the allocated by board amount from our budget to be used for the kinder concerts in a box.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, Teresa, thank you. Is there a second? Michaela. I saw Michaela.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
And let us do a roll call, Laura, please.
Okay. Renee,
Yes.
Victoria,
Yes.
Michaela,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Laura, yes. Holly,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Trish.
Yes.
All right, carries unanimously.
Wonderful. So moving on to the second item, and I sent an email to most of you, just kind of explaining what the deal is. And I don't know if Michaela or Victoria, if you want to explain one more time, just what we need to do as far as our taxes are concerned.
Okay, Victoria, feel free to jump in. We just have struggled to find someone who is willing and able and wants to help us. The guy that I found the information from that had helped before called back and said he wanted to, but he's just overwhelmed and not feeling like he can. And some people that I've contacted don't do the form that we need. So the one person out of like the dozen people I've connected with said they could do it, but it's $600. So it is way more than we budgeted for, but I don't have any other leads. So Victoria, you can jump in too if you have anything you want to say.
Yeah. I mean,
is
when,
this-
well, when I was even working at H&R Block, we had called around to different H&R Blocks that we knew may be able to do them. And there again, not a lot of, it's a very specialized form. And that's why we're having so many issues with it, is because it's specialized. But yeah, I don't think I've exhausted everything on my end.
I know I got a quote for 1,900. So 600 is better than the 900 I got.
Agree.
Wow. What do other PTAs do? I mean, is this a
I
struggle?
think-
Do we
I
know?
think they have connections. And this guy that I talked to, he did it for several years because he had kids that were at Lake Elmo, but he doesn't do it anymore. And I mean, we've tried. I know we sent out whatever we did, like a, hey, can anyone help us through the, the newsletter? But no one has. I mean, how do you get someone if there isn't anybody willing to help?
Yeah.
So I think they have connections maybe, and we just don't right now. I don't know, because the person that had done it before was a parent, and he's still at Lake Elmo, but he's just not interested in helping us again. So
I even asked a couple friends that are tax accountants, but I don't know what the form is to let them know. But they seemed kind of overwhelmed as well.
I think COVID has hit them hard with people needing more extensions and, and just overwhelmed. So they're just not as able maybe. So I don't know. I cringe at spending that much, but I just don't know what else to do.
Do we have any idea how much time it takes to prepare that form from past years? I mean, is this like the huge burden, or is it?
I don't think so. The woman who said she was interested sent me an engagement letter basically saying, what her services were for. And we're basically paying her for an hour. She just charges like $600 an hour. Yeah. So no, I don't think it takes a long time, but
So we just need a certified we just need a CPA to fill out this form. I mean, because my dad's a retired accountant, but I think he still does some tax returns, but I don't know if he's ever done this form, but he's a former school board member. I'm sure he's aware of school stuff, but I don't know if he's ever done a PTA form. I could ask.
Problem that I know a lot of people at H&R Block were even looking is, because it is highly specialized, you have to have all the training for it, which is a different kind of CPA.
Okay.
So
Can I ask-
if it was just a regular tax, it wouldn't be an issue. But because they have to have specialized training in that, it has to be done that way.
Okay.
you could
Can I
ask.
ask Brookview what they do? And my sister-in-law, who was their president a couple years ago, had asked their person, and she said that like they just do it. Like they don't have anybody do it. It's just like a form.
Well, I looked into that too, because I saw something about that on one of the PTA, the big PTA people that send us emails. And there was some training about how to file your own 990. So I would think you could do it yourself. I didn't go to that class, but I think you're right, Teresa. I don't know. I got the same vibe that you could probably do it yourself. I don't feel qualified to do that, but I think you're
Sure.
right. That you
I
probably
wonder if I should ask my mother-in-law too, because she is a CPA, but she also runs a lot of other stuff. So I didn't want to ask her because she's got a lot going on. But if it's something that we could just potentially fill out and say, does it look good?
right. Erica has it all laid out. If the binder's there, everything, all the paperwork is filled out and completed, and it's there. It's just someone has to go in and file it for us. Victoria, right? Did your friend find that she had all the needed materials, just didn't?
Yeah, she had all the needed materials in the binder that I have, but she just needed to file it, which was quite a bit more than what we had been looking at.
Sure.
I'll ask it's a 990. Is that all it's called?
Yeah. I'll send it to Teresa too. I'll send you a piece of information if I can find it about what.
Okay, because I can double check with her and be like, hey, you want to do it for like 200 or like,
for sure.
No, like, can I just do it? Like, I can check with her and see too.
I think we had budgeted 150 or 175.
I think it's just one.
It's 100. It is just 100. Yeah. But yeah, 200, whatever.
Anything under 6 is better.
Definitely.
It's so funny. I feel like I've heard on like on Facebook and in these groups, it's either people say it's a breeze or some people are so spooked by it because it's, charitable donations and it's a whole other layer of complications. And so, yeah. So would we like to then just kind of pause the vote? We will have to make a decision soon just because it's due in May. So if we have to, we might have to vote via email. But is everybody comfortable just waiting and maybe asking some of the people that we have in our life and just see if they might be able to help or just give us a little bit more guidance? And then if not, we can always vote on the 600 for this individual. Does she have to know by a certain time?
I don't think so. No, she didn't say that at all. So.
Okay. And we should think too, though, with April 15th coming up quick.
I know.
Want to be respectful of her time too. So,
right.
Okay. All right. We'll hold off on that.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Not to interrupt anyone. So I have some familiarity with nonprofit taxation and accounting. I've been treasurer for a couple different organizations, and I used to do accounting for a couple different churches, and a 990 is really not that complicated. So I really wouldn't be too worried about any CPA, just so long as they have experience with nonprofits. So like most H&R blocks and things like that, they don't really work with nonprofits. So generally, like if most organizations aren't really familiar with nonprofits, they're going to charge a lot of money because they generally don't have the familiarity. But unless we have like more complicated like endowments and different like tangible donations, like it shouldn't be, I don't think we should be too terribly concerned. Sorry, I apologize. Maybe I'm coming in late on the conversation if the conversation's taken place before this meeting, but I have worked with Foley Calcium, and they're in Lake Elmo, and they do a fair amount of nonprofit stuff in the area. I don't know if they would discount their services for being local, but I know they've done that in the past for different organizations. And so that
one, I'm trying to think if I've contacted that one. I feel like I did most of the ones in Lake Elmo.
Foley Calcium. And
Okay.
it might be possible because I know that like pretty much every CPA firm is just packed right now with all of everything of this last year being crazy with taxes. But so that might be part of the issue too.
Okay. I'll look at my notes and see if I got a hold of them. Thank you. I agree. I don't think it is as complicated as it seems. I just think for some reason nobody wants to do it for us. So I don't know.
Well, thank you. Thanks for doing all that work on that, Michaela and Victoria, who just left. And Trish, thanks for the advice. We'll look
thank you.
Yeah, and if there's any help anyone needs on anything ongoing, like I'm happy to jump in and help too. So
thank you very much. All right, we will move on to the principal's report. And like I said, Mr. Gordy didn't have much by way of an update. However, he did say that there is an option for parents to opt out of taking the MCAs or having their children take the MCAs. He said he was going to email me a link to do that. And he must be in a bad spot because he wasn't able to send it to me. So we can put it up on our website. We could put it on our Facebook page too, just to kind of get the word out. And I'm sure it'll be in the Lake Elmo Messenger soon too, if it hasn't been already. Moving on to what I a little bit nervous about, the search for next year's executive board members. And nominating committee. So in my time, I don't remember having seen a nominating committee. I don't know if they had in the last few years and just maybe before I got to Lake Elmo, but technically what we're supposed to do is have a nominating committee, usually made up of 3 people. We could either nominate whoever might be willing to do it, or I think it is both our secretaries, I believe, 3 members who shall be appointed by the PTA membership at a regular meeting. If there are no volunteers, it'll consist of the recording secretary, corresponding secretary, and the first year treasurer. So basically, we will be voting on our new executive board next month at our meeting next month. And our nominating committee needs to kind of go out and just look for good candidates, maybe try to reach out to them, see if they'd be willing to serve in an executive role or in a chair position as well. We need those very badly. So in speaking with some of our current members, it looks like Laura, she has done so much for us. So thank you so much. And Teresa as well. You guys are awesome. So they will be stepping away from their positions. And so those will be open. Michaela, did you, and I think you and I had chatted a little bit about next year. Are you, will you be coming back? And I apologize to put you on the spot. I feel like we
I know,
emailed.
no, I don't know if we did talk about it. I don't know. Do you know if Victoria is planning on keeping the treasurer role?
She didn't say, so
Okay.
I'll have to chat with her and
Okay.
just see. And we don't have to know by tonight, but it was just, it's something we should start thinking about because we need to know what positions to advertise for. And Jen, if you could think of any teachers who might be interested, I know it's like teachers are so swamped. So I even hate to bring it up, but if any teachers are interested, please just, remind them that we would love to have teachers serve on our board. We have in the past, they've been wonderful. And you've been wonderful. And so I know it's been a stressful year for you too. So I wanted to check in with you to see how you felt about coming back next year.
I would be more than happy to come back.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I love this
Love it.
team,
We
but I
love
will put it out there if anybody else wants to be a board member, right? That's different.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I can, I don't know if you want to write something up as
Sure.
the president and I can send it out,
Yeah.
or I could just send something out too.
I'll write up a note and then you could see if it's, and then I'll let you tweak it.
All right.
You can write it however you'd like. So yeah, so it would be the only one position that I know for sure will be filled is our president role, Eva, who's not here. I did check in with her. She is willing to take on the president role next year, which means we'll need a vice president, as well as both secretaries, recording and corresponding, perhaps a treasurer position or 2. And the chair positions, Holly, how do you feel about membership? Would you want to come back and do the membership? I know this
Yeah.
is a crazy year, but
Or something else.
have you back. It won't look like this next year, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be happy to come back.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That would be great. I had kind of given it some thought and I I would like to come back, maybe in a chair position, and I was thinking perhaps, the fundraising chair. Um, Mainly because I know how hard it is to fill.
I don't think you'll have a lot of competition.
I don't think so either, which, and so I'd have to see, I'd try to search for somebody to then chair the carnival. And if we can't find anybody, then that would fall to me, which wouldn't be the end of the world. So, um, and then we have a finance. So Laura and I were we're looking at the standing rules. There is one other chair position besides membership and fundraising, and that's the finance or the budget review.
Budget.
Finance review. So the budget review is usually the treasurer. Is that?
But our standing rules say that the treasurer will be the chair of the budget committee, but we have it listed separately and counting towards our quorum. So then we were just laughing. We're like, how can we count the treasurer twice for quorum when they're the budget committee chair and the treasurer? So
We'll have to change that, I think, before next year. So a finance review committee chair we would need, and that's just somebody to kind of oversee, our treasurers at the end of the year. Is that right? And just kind of look over our finances and
I
make
think
sure.
it might be twice a year. I think there might be a mid-year and an end year.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't
Yeah,
have that.
mid-year and the close of the fiscal year.
Okay.
And I might be willing to do that.
Okay. That would be awesome. Think about it and just let me know. So I know it's very quick. It seems like it's very quick, but we just need to, I'd like to get our executive board in place so that we can plan for next year, because Rhonda will need to know by the 1st of May what dates we want to reserve rooms and put things in the calendar. So I guess I'll have to check with Mr. Gordy too to see if we'll even be able to have events or what the feel is for next fall. But okay, so for our nominating committee, I don't know, Laura and Teresa, and I don't know if Michaela, I don't know if you or Victoria want to just discuss who would want to be that third person on the committee. Do you guys feel comfortable doing it? How do you feel about?
Does anybody else here want to be on the committee? I mean, if we have
Angie or
volunteers, we
Trish,
don't have to
would you
assign to.
guys- It'd be a committee to help identify possible executive board members for next year and reach out to them and then nominate them at our next meeting. And that's okay if you don't want to. All right. So yeah, and I can help you guys too. I'll kind of keep in contact with you guys and kind of send some names your way. I'll try to get some feelers out there too and help you. So we would need kind of people lined up and possible nominations by next time, because we would need to vote at our next meeting, which is, I can't remember what the next meeting is. I apologize. All right, so moving on. The last item on our agenda is staff appreciation. Besides Teacher Appreciation Week, which is May 3rd through the 7th, which I think we should go completely gangbusters for. There are also smaller events, which we usually try to acknowledge and do a little bit something in addition to the Appreciation Week. So Administrative Professionals Day, which is the front office staff mainly, that's Wednesday, April 21st. So that's coming up. That's why I wanted to bring it up now, just so we can decide on what we'd like to do. Paula, Rhonda, and is Myrna a part of the front office staff too, Jen?
That's part of her job, yes, as the family liaison.
Okay, then we'll include her as well.
So yes.
Okay. Is there any idea? And so I guess the question is, how much do we have left for teacher appreciation? And I apologize, Michaela, I don't mean to put you on the spot. We don't, we could just kind of discuss it and make a decision at our next meeting too, if we need to. But decide how much we want to allot for Teacher Appreciation Week. Do we want to ask families if they want to pitch in? I know our PTA has done that in the past too, just to kind of add to the amount that we have set aside. Any thoughts? They
I
have
think asking families is a great idea. And I think also kind of how we did for the bus driver appreciation, just putting something out on the Facebook page that says this is happening. So even if you don't want to give us money to do something, feel free to send your teacher a gift. If we still have that spreadsheet from Eva that we could repost with like what the teachers prefer,
Mhm.
that would be good to add to it.
That's a
Last
great
year
idea.
too, I know we did that seesaw thing, which they were using every day.
Mhm.
But I wonder if we could incorporate that some way for them to send messages. There's teachers. Jen, do you guys still check seesaw or no? Would that be not used?
I don't, I don't check Seesaw anymore. Partly because it's a time thing,
Yeah.
but since we don't have C days anymore, I don't go into Seesaw, to be honest. I don't know how many other teachers do. I
Sure.
know some who have devices are still using it in the classroom. But I don't have devices for my kids, so I don't use it. I know Hannah uses it. I don't know that she uses Seesaw per se. She does use Dreambox for math.
Okay.
Okay. We could just think about it. Maybe why don't we do this? Why don't we just kind of get our bearings, find out how much we have to work with, and then decide whether we want to do something like we did in the fall, which might be difficult still. The lunches, we did the box lunches in the fall. We also helped out with getting gift certificates or gift cards for restaurants and Target in the winter time. So we could do that again because we do have permission to do that through, I believe, the end of June or July of this year. So those are some options in addition to, if we just wanted to get some candy or treats or and then just kind of do a note just like we did for our bus drivers too. I think that'd be really neat.
Do you know how much the sandwiches ended up costing us in the fall?
I think they were $8 boxes. And so I think it was it around 400? It was 300 or 400. I can't remember. I'll have to look that one up.
I know. I could run up and get the binder. Would I have it in there? I should, right?
Yeah. It wasn't everybody because it didn't include, it was just whoever was in the building at the time and who signed up for it. So, in the past, we've just done like we bought, large sandwich platters and then just kind of left it out. And so we could do the box again, or we could do, like I said, just maybe like a $10 gift card or something to local restaurants in place of doing a box.
Sure.
And then that would make sure that everybody would get one instead of just whoever signs up for it too. Just very quickly, in addition to Administrative Professionals Day, there are a couple other days. There's School Lunch Hero Day on May 7th, School Nurse Day on May 12th, and Principal Appreciation Day on May 1st. So, I mean, all of those groups and individuals, I mean, they deserve a lot because every single, you think of the custodians and all they've had to do, especially this year. You think of Mr. Gordy. I can't even believe he's still standing. I just the amount of work he's had to do. Our school, like cafeteria staff, with having to feed families even during the pandemic. And then the nurses, of course, having to do what they do and, the added risks and pressures that they undergo. So I guess my question is, are we okay with doing something similar for them that we did with the bus drivers? And then, and then doing in addition a teacher appreciation week event?
Hey, Renee.
Yeah.
How many total people do you think that is? Like, I was just trying to get a sense, like, as you're going through that, the numbers, because that would be an interesting, like to figure
Yeah.
out,
So the administrative professionals day would be 3. The principal is just Mr. Gordy. School lunch, I think we have 5. I think we have 5 cafeteria personnel. And then the school nurses is 2. Is that correct, Jen?
Yep, we have the school nurse and then a paraprofessional nurse, but she's nurse trained, like.
Okay. So yeah, so 3, 4, then 9, 10, 11. So it'd be 11.
What about custodians?
Well, custodians, so they had, the custodian appreciation day was in the fall.
Okay, so we already did that.
Yep, yeah, so we did, and it was something similar. That one, it was like candy and like a gift card to Dairy Queen with a note that said thank you. So we could do something like that. For Mr. Gordy, I don't know if we wanted to do something a little bit more for him. I speak freely about it because he's not here, because I think if he was here, he'd probably be like, no, 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 no. And so I'm almost glad he's not here, just so he didn't hear it. So yeah, so I don't know how everybody feels about that. If it's something you want to think about, and then we can email about it later, but that's too, especially with planning Teacher Appreciation Week, we should probably decide sooner rather than later. And then the Administrative Professionals Day is coming up on April 21st too. So we'd probably want to do that before our next meeting. All right. Should we, why don't we do this? Why don't we just kind of, we'll get kind of our bearings, get our thoughts together. Michaela, you and I can take a look at the budget and what we've got left. And then I'll kind of give you guys an email with the rundown of what we have in front of us and what we think we'd like to do. I think we could do it. If we want to do something similar to the bus drivers, I think we can do it on a pretty, it wouldn't be too expensive. And then it would save a little bit for Teacher Appreciation Week. And the question is, depending on how much we have left for that, do we want to add a little bit more depending on what we want to do for the teachers? Something in person rather than a gift card or what? So why don't we do that? Why don't we hold off? I'll email everybody. I'll make sure to get everybody. Trish, could you send me just a quick message in the chat just with your email so I can include you too, since you were here for the discussion? And I'll make sure I contact everybody about it.
Hey, Renee.
Yeah.
When we did the thing in the fall, I can't remember, did we use part of the budget for the spring teacher appreciation for the fall stuff? Okay.
Yeah, we did. So, right, Michaela? I remember us using that.
I was just thinking about that. So how does that, I wonder, came out of last year's budget, huh? Yeah.
It would have been this school year, but
No,
we
it's
did
this school
that
year.
thing in the fall.
So we allocated $1,500 for staff appreciation. So would you take that? We spent $400 on that. So you would take that 400 off of that this calendar year, right? Is that what you're, or no? Are you saying it was from last school year? Because we didn't do a staff appreciation last school year.
No, it was this school year. I think at the beginning of the year we did something.
Right.
We did.
Right.
No, but Laura, I think she was wondering if we used last school year's allocation for this.
Which I don't think we did.
I don't know that we did either.
Wouldn't we have had to start fresh because the budget starts over?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes, it has to be from.
Yeah, I think.
We just
Let me double check on that, and I'll send an email and explain what we did in the fall. because I can't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
I
I
have
think
box lunches written down, but then I have 1,500 next to it, so that must have just been what was allocated, not that we used 1,500.
No. Um,
My notes are clearly no help.
I could do a quick check. Because I'm guessing it was from our PTA minutes from August, probably. That makes most sense. Um, No. No, I'll have to look it up and I'll send it to you guys, just to refresh our memory and, yeah, we can, I'll look it up and I'll send it to you guys and let you know, and then we can kind of continue the discussion. Then, since it's good too, since Eva is not here and Victoria's not here, it'd be nice to get their input too. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to that discussion? Is there anything anybody wants to add just in general?
So would it be helpful for us to make a decision on the staff appreciation tonight so that we could get that done before the office staff appreciation day, and then we can table the teacher appreciation until we get a better idea of the budget? Or do we need the budget information for the staff appreciation also?
We would need the budget information for this, for the staff appreciation. I mean, unless we choose to, for the administrative professionals day, we could just choose to use surplus or the allocated by board vote money for that.
for staff appreciation, it should just be that one Lake Elmo in expense that we've had so far, right?
Yes, yeah.
So we do know what we have, what we're working with then. The bus driver thing came out of the allocated by board vote, so that didn't come out of there.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm clearly just a drop-in member, so I don't know, but I thought we used some of that money too for when we used some of the money for the gift certificate in like December or November.
I think, did we decide allocated by board for that too?
We
Or
used
did-
allocated by board, and we took out the money that Paula would have used for the laminator. So that's where there was $600 from the laminator, I believe. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so
In the past, have you guys gotten any responses from like Facebook requests for these kind of things, or is it pretty limited? Because it just seems like for all that everybody has done for this year, God, it'd be nice if we can do more than what's on the budget, right? And see if anybody, can give more money.
what
to
we've
help with
done in
it.
the past, we had asked for, if anybody wanted to pitch in extra money, they could send money to school with their kids, and then we would add it to the amount that we have in our budget. So we could do that again too. We could, ask people if they want to, pitch in something on PayPal, go to our website and give a donation for the teacher appreciation. We could do that.
Is it worth it to maybe contact some of the businesses that are like every year carnival donators and see if if the Dunn Brothers in Oak Park Heights or whatever, if they donate every year, if we were like, hey, if we buy 4 $10 gift cards, can we get the 5th one free or something like that?
Yeah.
As another way to bump it up, since we're not asking for carnival donations. But I don't know what the attitude in the landscape is out there.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try. We could certainly do that and see if they'd be willing to. I did try reaching out to some businesses. Now, this was in the fall, just to ask if they wanted to donate to our Give to the Max Day as a business partner. And many of them, especially the restaurants, said, we just don't, we can't, we're struggling so badly. And so I think, I mean, I think it would be worth it to go to the people that we are tried and true every single year. They come through for us, just to see if they'd be willing to do something like that. Sure. I think that would be a good idea.
Apparently we should be asking the accountants if they want to donate because they seem super busy. Right?
$600 worth of gift cards, please. Oh man, why don't I have any of my, let's see. Okay. So Paula had requested like around 780. And she had some. She said, please use lamination budget of $600 towards this. So I think we might have used $177, but I believe that came from an allocated by board vote. And I apologize, we might have voted for that via email, so I don't know if that's in our minutes, but okay. So, yeah. Yep, the remaining $167 will be taken out of the PTA's board allocated funds. So that's that. And let me just double check the fall.
I have 1,000 left for spring written in my December notes. for
Okay,
Appreciation.
okay.
Again, no promises on the accuracy of that.
Oh man. I think we'll just have to look back on our budget. I think we did use it from, I think we did use it from our amount. And then, so we'll just have to, if we do have 1,000, we'll have to decide what we want to do. And then see where the additional funding would come from, or we can, I mean, we could put it out now or soon, maybe.
I think putting it out now or soon would be a good idea. And we can even say, hey, if you need a little bit of extra charitable donations for your taxes,
Yeah,
consider the PTA and we'll use it towards teacher appreciation.
maybe I'll do it in the April newsletter. I'll do it in our April PTA newsletter, and then we'll get it out the first week of April. That'll give us a month for them to come in, and then we can decide then.
Renee, do you know if the Thrivent grants that our Thrivent people always use could potentially be used for this in some way, or no, because it's not, that has a volunteer event, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It has to
It
go
does.
towards like the volunteer stuff.
Yep. You have to have volunteers, and you have to prove that, that you had volunteers there. And I think there might be something specific about purchasing gift cards.
I feel like, but didn't Annie use those last year when she bought like the silent auction items?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that counts, but if it were, I think it's the same issue with the PTA. Like if you purchase gift cards, it's like income. And so
Sure.
I think
Okay.
that might be an issue. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I'll send out something by the 1st of April. And then hopefully we'll get a response and see how much additional funding we'll get. And then we can regroup and figure that out. Administrative Professionals Day, since that's the next one coming up, that's April 21st. I mean, we could wait till our next meeting, as long as it's not that week, but it's something as simple as we can, print out a note and get some treats for our 3 front office staff. And then the rest of the events are in May, so it gives us a little bit of time. How do you feel about that? Would everybody be okay if we did that? I guess we could pull it out of surplus, we could pull it out of the board allocated amount. Do you want to make a decision on this tonight, or should we just hold off until we have the full discussion? We can do that through email. What do you think, Michaela? Or Lara?
What did we do for admin appreciation last year? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I might have just gone out and and just gotten them like a card with some candies
Or
and
did we even do anything since school was shut down?
oh, we didn't.
I don't think we did anything like that at the end of in the spring.
No, we didn't. I gave them gift cards at the end of the year from me, but like for the PTA. So that was that was all that we had done for them after school ended.
Just FYI, if you guys want to do something a little bit extra for Mr. Gordy, he does love Angelina's in
Oh,
Woodbury.
okay.
Just a piece of information I know. And the Boundary Waters.
So let's get him a canoe. Okay. All right. Since it's 6:50, why don't I'll write up an email. I'll include everybody who's here. And we can chat about it a little bit more. Michaela will go through, if you can pull the numbers on what we have left and then what we'll have left in the board allocated vote, and what we'd have in our surplus. Then if we have that snapshot, then we can decide, how much we could aim to raise, what we could do for our teachers, whether we want to do something in person or gift cards or what. That sound good?
And when you say surplus, you don't mean like how much in the bank we have, right? Because
Well,
there's plenty there. I don't know what you mean by surplus, but there's a lot of it.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we needed to, we could, in
Yes,
theory.
yes, I feel like, yeah. I mean, I know more money will come out with all the teacher stipends that always come at the end of the year, but
Right.
I don't feel like there's a lot of big things we're going to be spending for the rest of the year.
And the stipends are smaller this year, so it probably.
Right. So I feel
Yeah.
like our surplus will have a surplus,
I almost feel like we should use our surplus before reaching out to families. Because I think that if we've got it, and if you feel comfortable and if everybody on the board feels comfortable using our surplus, we're not supposed to have a gigantic surplus anyway. So I would rather do that rather than ask families to give more if they don't have to. So maybe you and I can chat about that and see how much would be, we'll go through a couple scenarios and different gifts for the teachers and we can make a decision at our next meeting. Sound good? Just a reminder to everybody, our next meeting, and so our next 2 meetings, April and May, will start at 7 o'clock because we won't have the Youth Service Bureau events. And tonight is the final Youth Service Bureau event, and everybody's invited to come if they'd like to, especially if you're an educator, because this one is geared towards our educators and how they can cope. You know, they're so resourceful. I'm sure our teachers have tried a bunch of things already, and Jen can probably attest to that. But hopefully our teachers will be able to attend and can get some good information tonight. So you guys are welcome to come back in about 10 minutes. There's a different link for that. So let me, just since we're all here, if anybody wants to, I'll just put the Zoom link in there real quick for anybody.
And also the book fair starts Wednesday, right? The online book fair?
Yes, the online book fair does start Wednesday. Does anybody have any questions about that? There's really nothing that we have to do. Eva's kind of taking care of everything. It's just getting the word out. So here's the Zoom link. I think it pasted twice, so sorry about that. So yeah, all right, so it's 6:52. Do we have a motion to adjourn? All right, Michaela, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Teresa, thank you. All in favor, say aye, or give me a thumbs up. All right, anybody opposed? Thank you so much, guys, for coming tonight, and maybe we'll see you at the next event. Have a good night,
Thanks
everybody.
all of you.
Thank you.